So I really hope that some wannabe child filmmaker doesn't look at this movie and go, oh, I wonder who the director was, and then see who it was, and then go, oh, I wonder what they did this year, and then go check out Death Wish, because no child should ever watch Death Wish. In fact, no adult should ever watch Death Wish. Nobody should watch it. A terrible, terrible movie.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Starring, amongst others, Jack Black, Cate Blanchett, Owen Vacarro and Kyle McLaughlin, directed by Eli Roth, off of a screenplay by Eric Kripke. This is my review for The House with a Clock in Its Walls. So first up, apologies that I'm behind on a couple of reviews. The Predator review will be coming this week. I haven't watched it yet. I've been away last week. I've just got back. This was out today, so I went and watched it. Predator is on my list though, so a review for that is coming. As for this movie, this was one that I wasn't sure what to expect from it. I mean, Eli Roth, I find him to be a lot more missed than he has hit. There's certain movies that he's done that I quite liked, but overall, not one of my favourite filmmakers by a long shot. And I found it weird that he was directing a film for, or at least what I thought, for children. It's certainly a family film, but it goes into a lot more darker territory than I was expecting it to do, but we'll get to that. The plot first is that Lewis, 10-year-old Lewis, his parents have both just been killed in a car accident, and he's sent to live with his Uncle Jonathan. What he doesn't know is that Uncle Jonathan is a warlock and his neighbour Florence is a witch. The house itself is powered by magic and is alive in a sense. A lot of the furniture and things are alive, and it's kind of cool. But to add to all of his drama, there's an evil villain coming with a plan to wipe out all of humanity. So as I say, this wasn't a movie I was looking forward to. Eli Roth's Death Wish was horrible, so after that I really wasn't interested in checking out another film that he'd done. But Jack Black was really the draw for this one for me. I find Jack Black to be very, very likeable in almost everything he does. I think he had a bit of a lull for a while, but hopefully he's on a bit of an upward trend. I thought he was the best bit about Goosebumps, and he was really good in Jumanji as well. So yeah, it was good to see him have another vehicle of his own. And he is one of the best things about this movie, I think. But saying that, all three of the main cast members, so him, Cate Blanchett and Owen Vacarro, are all really, really good. What Jack Black does really well is blending the more silly aspects of the film with the drama. There's when Lewis first arrives, Jack Black's character is like, there are no rules here, and he's very flippant, he's very almost silly, like he's very nonchalant about things, while still looking like he's worrying about stuff. But when he tells Lewis his one rule, the rule not to open a particular cupboard, Black's able to give that moment a real sense of gravitas. Like, it really feels like a serious moment, and there's moments like this throughout where he can switch between the two genres very, very well. And his relationship with Cate Blanchett is great fun to watch as well. The script really comes to life when these two are in a room together just trading insults. It's a kind of a credit to Eric Kripke's script. And by the way, there's a great Supernatural nod in this. Supernatural fans will recognise the name of a certain major character. But it is telling that the constant barbs that they're sort of trading with each other doesn't really get old. They're always fun, they're always witty, and it's always just nice little moments to see them go at each other while still having this underlining sort of level of care towards each other. Like, you know, these two like each other and they almost get off on insulting each other. It's part of their relationship, it's part of that dynamic, and those two characters just worked really, really well together. And that's not just down to the writing, it's down to how well Black and Blanchett played it as well. This movie, however, would have been a disaster if Owen Vacarro was an annoying child actor, and thankfully he isn't. He's very, very good. He holds this film up quite a lot. A lot of the runtime, it's him. Like, he has the most to do out of all of the cast here, and it never seems for a moment that he buckles under that pressure. He handles everything really, really well. Some of the more stranger moments, some of the more sincere moments, and some of the emotional moments too, because he gets emotional moments to play with here. His parents have just died, and that's not washed under the carpet. That is brought up, and you see how it's affecting him. I don't like it in movies where you have that kind of recent trauma, and they kind of forget about it because they're on an adventure, and thankfully that's not the case here with Lewis. You really feel that everything he's doing, he has what he's just gone through in the back of his mind, and it really builds to his character. And he's a fun character too. He reads the dictionary, he loves learning new words, he's cool with wearing goggles and getting the mick taken out of him by the other kids in school just because a TV character called Captain Midnight that he loves also wear goggles. He's relatively comfortable with who he is, and he doesn't really try and change to fit in. He does lose the goggles at one point, but you get a sense that this is a kid who, certainly as the film progresses, is just comfortable being him, and that's a really nice thing to see. Of the cast, Kyle McLaughlin's not really served overly well. I will say this about his character. His character of Isaac, he's the sinister owner of the house before Jack Black's character arrived there. His motivations for the things that he's doing actually do make sense. You can actually see why, with the very little that we see of him, he would choose to go down the path that he's going. It's just a shame that we didn't get more time with him. He doesn't come into play really until towards the end of this, and yeah, there's not enough there to get to know the actual character itself. So while I did enjoy the motivations, while I like the fact that I could at least sympathise with the character, there's not really a huge amount of time to get to know him, and that's a bit of a shame. And it seems like there was ample opportunity to get to know him, because this film takes its time, and not in a good way. There are a lot of moments where this drags, where it doesn't feel like it's moving anywhere near as quick enough as it should do. And it's very strange that a big character like Isaac, like Kyle MacLachlan's character, doesn't really get that much to do. There could have been so much more done with him to fill up some of the more slower moments here. And I do appreciate the fact that this isn't just sort of chaos after chaos scene. Like, there are moments where it's fun and there are moments where things go a bit crazy. But there's just too many moments where it is just people talking. And this is the sort of movie where it felt like it needed to put the foot on the pedal just a little bit more to kind of make it feel that momentum's building. Because by the time we get to the last act and everything goes a bit crazy, it's almost a bit of whiplash, because we've gone so sort of methodically slow up to that point. And there are moments where that slowness works, of the mystery of the clock in the wall, the mystery of what's going on. Like, it is played up really well. But yeah, just a little bit more urgency in the script would have been good. And tonally as well, this is an odd one. There's a moment in the final act of this involving Jack Black's character and something that happens to Jack Black's character. And it's funny, yeah. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen something like this happen to a character this year. And I'm trying not to reveal what it is, because it is like a what moment when it happens. But yeah, it is funny, but with everything else that's going on at that moment, things got quite dark. Like, things got very heavy. Like, the actual situation that they were facing was very, very dire. But to throw this very oddly comedic moment in there, and it is done in a funny way, like, there's no two ways about it, it's done for comedy. It was really jarring with what was happening at the time, and there are lots of moments like that throughout A House with a Clock in Its Walls. Moments where it doesn't feel like it knows exactly what film it wants to be, and it's just jumping between tones quite a lot. It kind of needed to pick one. It needed to know what kind of movie it wanted to be, instead of just trying to be lots of different things. Something, though, that did surprise me about this was how creepy it was. I mean, Jack Black's character says creepy quite a lot. He says it in the trailer, he says it 2 or 3 times in the movie as well, but it genuinely is in places. Like, for a film that there was lots of kids watching this in the screening I was in, and yeah, it really is quite sinister in places. A lot of the imagery that's being used is very, very disturbing. Not just with dolls and things, but just with actual people themselves, and sort of there's this sort of change that a certain character goes through. And you can see kind of their limbs twisting and stuff as they contort into... It's very, very, very disturbing to watch. I mean, it's not up there with like the top horror or everything, but for a movie of this kind, for a movie that's certainly appealing to a family audience, it does kind of push the boundary a little bit. Even the pumpkins themselves look quite terrifying in places. And the movie does look really good as well. I love the house. Like, the actual setting of the house is really cool to look at. It's a great location. Like, the sets used really, really well. So overall, this was a pleasant surprise. It was one that I thought was going to be pretty awful. I don't know why I prejudged it as much as I did, but yeah, I wasn't expecting great things from it, but in the end it delivered in certain areas. It's not a perfect movie, it does have quite a few problems, but certainly worse films that I've seen out there quite recently. This one, yeah, better than I expected it to be. I'm going to give The House with a Clock in Its Walls a 7 out of 10. Have you seen A House with a Clock in Its Walls yet? If so, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Have you read the book as well? What's the book like? Let me know. I didn't actually realise it was a book until I came to do this review, and I was like, okay, yes, an adaptation. Didn't know. So if you've read the book, is it worth reading? Tell me. Do hit like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Let's say look out for a review for The Predator coming hopefully on Tuesday. There'll be a review for A Simple Favour as well coming along this week. I'm going to try to get reviews up for Season 2 of Iron Fist and Season 2 of American Vandal. I'm halfway through Iron Fist. I had to watch so much of it on a laptop, so I can't wait to actually go and watch it on the big 4K TV again. But yeah, I'm liking this season a lot more than the first. And I should hopefully have the next episode by episode of Buffy up this week, which will be Season 4. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this review, and I will see you on the next video.